Oh, I'm going to have a quick ramble. Right. While people ask, it is still the Deepcool LT720. I tried the thermal rights, a few of them. All good. All had a little something which I didn't like, and it was normally to do with the actual pump sound. Most people don't worry about it. It's me being picky. Apart from I think the Grand Vision, that was really quite loud, but that was because the pump was situated up here when it was built in, and it was quite audible indeed. Closest one to staying was the Elite, Thermalright Elite Vision. Really nice screen, software worked really well, everything about it was good, but the pump was just a little bit more noticeable than what I actually do like. And this one kind of spoiled me, and the one before this kind of spoiled me where it's just really quiet. So on quiet times, evenings and stuff, I'm just drawn to the fact that if I can hear this low hum, it annoys me. So they were good, but just not quite there. I'm interested to see what Deepcool is going to do next after the Mystique, because I didn't like the Mystique because they locked the pump speed. Hopefully they'll learn the lesson and change that for the next one. But also interesting to see what's going to happen with the company, because I think their sales are still banned in America, which is certainly got to be hurting them. Anyway, yes, still the 4090. No intention of upgrading. Normally one of the main reasons why I upgrade is because there's a game out that makes me go, oh yeah, I can see the reason why. But considering they're still showing Cyberpunk as the reason as to why I have a 5070, I've played that game like 4 times, played it through and everything else. I will go through it again one time, but it's a bit kind of thing when they're trying to sell the 5000s on a game that's been out for like 4 years, and everyone's been there, kind of done that. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to put on and go, look what my card can do, but at the same time, I was watching some of the Frame Gen 4. Don't like it at all. I haven't seen enough on Frame Gen 3. Frame Gen 2, which is obviously the ones that these do, that's it's doable in some games, and I think it's certainly fine in the slow paced or like single player games. Frame Gen 3 I need to spend a bit more time looking at, but from what I've seen of the Frame Gen 4, it is noticeable, and I just wouldn't bother with it at all. The other thing with the DLSS, which is quite good news, the DLSS, well, we'll take Cyberpunk as an example anyway. From what I'm seeing, if you were to run a 4090 like I did with DLSS 3 on quality and played everything maxed out and it looked nice and you're happy with that, you'd be able to get Cyberpunk, put DLSS 4 on it, which obviously comes to DLSS 4 now, but knock it down to balance rather than quality, and it will actually look slightly better than it did on quality, but running at balance. So that means you're getting, obviously, your game looking slightly better, but you're also gaining, another 10, 15 frames, dropping down to balance. So that's a win-win. So DLSS 4, yes, there is a bit of performance hit. You're looking at something like 5 to 8 frames, which was probably going to be a bit unusual for some people, thinking it was just going to be just gain frames and gain looks. But because of the actual quality, you are taking a bit of a hit on the actual performance. But because of the quality stepping up so much, you can actually knock down your DLSS, and it still looks is either as good as quality or a bit better. So from what you're actually losing, you're actually gaining, if that makes any sense. So yeah, DLSS 4 is really nice from what I've seen anyway. My opinion still on the 5070 and 5080 is still the same. If you have a 4090 and you were thinking about a 5070 or 5080, don't stick with the 4090. Certainly, if you want the 5090, by all means, do what you need to do. That is a beast of a card, really nice card, but again, some people are going to be in for a hell of a shock when they see the size of some of these aftermarket ones, the MSI and some of the Asus. They're huge. And you've also got to think about bracket, depending on how you're setting things up as well. But there's going to be a lot of people get that card if they don't do any research and wonder why it won't fit inside their case. People said these were big, but some of those ones I've seen on the other side, they're huge. But again, with the power draw and power, it's cooling. It's to be expected. So it's it's going to be interesting to see how far cards can go before it hits a plateau where they can't do much more with it because of size, price, power draw. It's going to get to a point where, and I don't think AI is going to carry them as far as they want to do. And I think we're going to get into the realm where, especially if AMD goes under on the GPU side and they just kind of completely give up trying to do anything up there, you're going to get what NVIDIA gives you, and you're going to have to like it and lump it, which means that if they do end up becoming the be-all and end-all, those changes that people say are too small now, you're going to slice them in half, because it's like, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? There's no competition to even look at now. So it's a shame with AMD, but they should have backed off a while ago and gone for the lower and mid ground and forget about the high. They should have clawed back some of the market share with the mid-level stuff at good prices. For people starting off PCs for the first time, or or pre-built and stuff, that keeps the prices low, get more people introduced to the PC market, and forget about the top end. Nvidia's it's got too much money and too much power, and AMD's market share on the GPUs is way too low for them to try and keep up. They should have gone for the entry point and the mid-level and done that better than Nvidia. And then when you get the market share back, then you go for the bigger stuff. But trying to run with them, it was never going to work. They just have way too much money, Nvidia. But on the CPU side, AMD is, to me, the ones that are heading things at this moment in time. Obviously, things change, but I think Intel got too complacent over the years with their name and everything else. But apart from that, it's I think there's a few specs of the PlayStation 6 have been leaked, and it looks like you're going to be looking at 120 FPS, ray tracing, decent settings. Will it be as good as the top-end PCs? No. But the problem is those lines are getting more and more blurred now, where it's a case of how do you justify cost on this compared to that. And because more people are moving from monitors and they're going to using their TVs and stuff now, there is the thing of how much pixel peeping can you do when you're sat so far back. Are people going to go, well, I can't see the difference, so why am I paying that kind of money for that? So I do think consoles are going to start hurting the PC market quite a lot, with the likes of the PS6 and whatever Microsoft do, because to the average Joe, which is your market for the future, they're going to start looking, going, well, fair enough, I can do my internet stuff, but can't I do some of that on the PlayStation 6? And I can't really tell the difference between that game and the PC one. So I do think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. The other thing is, well, and I keep saying it, one of the main reasons why I haven't jumped is there's no games. They're still using Cyberpunk to sell the 5,000 cards. The only games I can see coming this year that are going to make people with the 5,000 go, hey, look, it was worth getting this 5090 because look how it is probably, I don't think Monster Hunter, I don't think Doom, the engine's too good, it runs good on the 4000s anyway. I think it would probably be Grand Theft Auto 6, but again, you're going to be looking, that's going to be close to Christmas before that drops, if it does. That's probably the only game where people with their say like the 5090 are going to be able to go, well, look at this. But again, to me, that's a bit late on, considering these cards are like 2.5 year lifespan. So I like there to be something out the day the card launches, where I can see where I've paid that money, and the justification for it is, look at this game that I'm playing and look how good it is now. Having to wait for a reason to go, oh, 6 months later, 8 months later, a year later, now I can see why I paid that money. Look at this game, and it never looked like that on my 4090 or whatever. There's nothing there at this moment in time. So again, that's another thing which put me off. I want either one amazing game or a few amazing games to go, yeah, it's worth it because look at this. I don't want to wait for them. So this is why I'm skipping the 5,000s, and I'll have a look at the 6,000s. I would say I'm almost sure I would go with the 6,000. Because you're going to have GTA 6 is going to be up and running, obviously well into its thing by then. And then obviously things like the Unreal 5 games, there's a lot of them still in development. They will be out, and then hopefully whatever bugs and stuff's been worked out, so they'll all be all singing and dancing by that time as well when the 6000s drop. So that's just my thoughts on it anyway. As for anything else, Deadpool turned up. I'd been the last time. There was loads of extra stuff that came with him. It's just way too much stuff. But the reason why I have him in this pose, because you can change the eyes and all that kind of stuff. There's my Talos back there as well. That kind of pose. It doesn't sit here. I've got a cabinet full of them. Is that there's going to be a Hugh Jackman Wolverine, which will be Hugh, whatever kind of pose in front of him. Anyway, that's just another one of my hobbies. Apart from that, I'm trying to think if anybody else has asked me anything. G-Scale, 6000s. The CL is 30 on it. I think it's, yeah. Still rocking that one, although I do slightly overclock it to 6200. Somebody was asking about that. They say the sweet spot is 6000. I did read someone say 6002 with the 9000s, but this, I don't know. But yeah, it's still, it's nothing like the Intel one where they're going up to like 7000 and stuff. They're still saying the sweet spot is like 6000 or slightly over. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, I'm just going to ramble. Can't think of anything else. So I'll be here. Okay, bye.